Hey, what's up? I'm Clarke, and she is ClarkeJones.com. I'm sitting here with J-Alta, North Carolina's very own, and ECU graduate like myself. How are you?
Doing pretty good, Clarke. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm glad we can meet today because I want to talk to you for a minute now, and you just dropped your album, so I definitely had to get you to talk about this.
Yep, I look forward to it.
Okay, so let's jump right in.
Right.
The 4th just passed. How was that for you?
I'm sorry?
4th of July?
Hey, I'm going to be honest. I spent it grinding.
Really?
I didn't see no fireworks, sadly. I saw some while I was on the road going to see a friend. But, yeah, I was going to Onyx that night because they were supposed to spin me in Charlotte.
Okay.
I didn't make it in, ironically. That's going to be a funny story to tell in the
You
future.
didn't make it into where?
To Onyx, the
What?
club. The line was crazy. And I wasn't nobody special yet, so it's not like I got skip line access or anything like that. But yeah, so I went out that way because they were supposed to spin me, and I wanted to introduce myself to the DJs.
Right.
Like I'm kind of trying to build that network.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, I had a couple cookouts I went to.
Okay, a couple. Okay.
Yeah, and then my friend Darian, she went to Australia, so I took her to the airport.
So it was eventful.
Yeah.
All right, and you just opened up for T.I. recently, right? This weekend?
Yep, I sure did this
How
past
was that?
Friday. Opened up for T.I. That was an amazing event. Shout out to the promoters that got me on there. Shout out to John, he kind of made it happen. That was awesome. I got to do 3 songs. I did them off of the demo. The crowd reacted amazingly.
Really? Okay.
I met Anthony Hamilton backstage.
I saw that. I was wondering what he was doing at the T.I. concert.
Yeah, one of the other artists actually brought him out.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
but he was super chill, super humble. Sadly, I didn't get to talk to T.I. much, but aside from that, the crowd loved it. I got some CDs out, so it was a successful event.
Okay. So when you go out these days, are you noticing that people notice you?
So I actually, when I was at Dane's Chicken and Waffles earlier, some dude came in like, "Yo, bro, I see you blowing up out here." Like it's just random stuff. Like, granted, a lot of it comes from like mutual friends and stuff like that. But I have had a couple strangers come up to me and be like, "Yo, you that kid that be rapping?" And it's an amazing feeling
I
to
bet.
go from where I was to now. So.
And you just quit your job. Is that what you told me?
Yep, I just quit. I said it in the demo too. I wasn't lying. That wasn't just lyrics just to be lyrics. I literally quit the job. So I wanted to do music full time. This is one of those things that is not gonna happen part time. You can't treat your plan A like a plan B, and then give your plan B plan A treatment.
Right.
So yeah.
So how's that working out for you so far? How long has it been?
It's only been since Friday.
Okay, so only a few days.
Yeah, and the initial release date of the demo was to align with that. With my last day at work, it was supposed to mark a chapter, needless to say.
Okay, I like it.
But it's been good so far because I was able to do an open mic last night in Durham. I did the audio for a video called "Are You Down" earlier that day, yesterday, and I just dropped that actually like a couple hours ago. So check it out.
Oh, what did you just drop?
The "Are You Down" music video.
Oh, you did a video for it.
Yeah.
You out here. So how many videos have you done so far for the album?
So far, I have 4 recorded and 2 released.
4 recorded and 2 released.
So,
when are you trying to drop the other one?
It's throughout the month.
Gotcha.
Because I'm actually going to record another 2 because I'm doing a storyline with the project.
Okay.
So Kings in the Queen City is already out. Are You Down just dropped today. Cartel Music is going to be next. And then 3 more joints after that basically tell a story. And then I still might do music videos for the other songs because each song is actually getting amazing reactions.
Really?
So I want to give it proper treatment for each one.
So what are the singles that you're going for? What are the top, let's say, 2 songs right now that you're trying to push?
Right. So I actually released the demo as a project entirely first to see what gets the most reaction because I had an idea, but sometimes you can't gauge how the people react to it. And the 2 songs that have gotten the most reaction are Big Papi and Cartel Music.
Okay.
So I think those are going to be the 2 that I push as a single. I've already sent Big Papi to a couple radio stations and gave a couple DJs a little package.
Feedback?
Yeah. Big Papi's the one that's gotten the most love.
Gotcha.
Easily. And hopefully, it makes its way onto the airwaves. But yeah, that's the record that I'm going to push first and then probably Cartel second.
But this is not your first project.
No, so it's actually my 4th.
Your 4th.
Yeah.
Okay.
my first two I dropped back in high school, so
Okay.
they didn't really, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like super perplex albums or projects or anything like that. But I do see this as a first in a certain way. The reason being is because this is the first project that top to bottom was original production.
Okay.
Every other project had remixes, instrumentals,
Gotcha.
freestyles. This is the first one that each song I actually got from a producer, and
Okay.
even specially requested certain beats.
And who makes the beats?
So
Or how'd
it's
you meet the people who make them?
yeah, it was all through mutual friends. Well, Jacob, he did Kings in the Queen City, Star Island, Are You Down, and Summertime, the South Side. He's from Statesville, so
Gotcha.
that automatically we know each other from high school. Doe School produced a lot of the beats on there. I met him through Sonny the Man. That's his, I won't say they're cousins, but they're both from Shelby.
Okay.
And Sonny was actually on the outro as well. But yeah, I met Doe School through Sonny. And then Glace, I met at the studio that I record at Compton Studios. He did the intro. So those are the only 3 producers on the project. Well, 4 producers.
Okay.
I try to keep it limited.
Right.
Because Glace only got 1 beat and the others had like 4 or 5 beats apiece. Because I always felt like having a consistent producing team keeps a sound. You know what I'm
This is
saying?
true.
It
Right.
doesn't keep the project sounding all over the place.
Right.
Yep.
I can second that. Okay. So you working with only North Carolina producers on this?
Yeah, as of right now, they're all from North Carolina. Glace is from Raleigh. I want to say, I might be wrong on that. Doe School's from Shelby. Jake's from Statesville. Sonny
Gotcha.
the Man is from Shelby. And that's not intentional, so
Right.
to speak.
Right.
But it just so happened to be that way.
Okay. So 4th project.
Uh-huh.
And when was the last one put out?
Last one was Hands Tied. That one came out.
We talked around that time too.
Yep, that was last February
Okay.
that it came out. And like I said, that project was still a lot of remixes, a lot of freestyles. Granted, it was over a lot of beats that people don't recognize, so it sounded original. But this is technically the 4th project, but I almost see it as a reintroduction project.
Gotcha.
So it's a first in a way,
Okay.
in my opinion.
So is this considered an album?
I don't really call it an album,
No.
and even though it has every right to be an album because
Yeah.
it's all production, it has single ready
You got
records.
10 tracks on it. I was shocked. I was like 10? Okay.
Yeah. So, because at the end of the day, this project started off as a concept of literally being a demo.
Okay.
It was gonna be 4 to 5 songs with just hit songs
Right.
on each track.
Which is what I was kind of expecting.
Yeah, and I was doing that to give to record labels, to give to radio stations,
Okay,
to give.
right.
I was initially gonna move to Atlanta. I was gonna give that to people to, so they had that demo, so to speak. But
Right.
it ended up becoming a bigger project because they kept on giving me hot beats, and I just couldn't stop recording. So it ended up being bigger than what it was.
Okay.
But yeah, to me, I want to call it a mixtape.
A
If
mixtape.
Drake, yeah, if Drake was able to call "If You're Reading It It's Too Late" a mixtape, I can call it a mixtape. So
It's
this is a mixtape.
Okay. 10 track mixtape.
Yeah.
And I want to go through each
I'm with
track.
it.
And I want to figure out what each one means, your story behind it,
Right.
maybe who was on your mind,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be.
Let's get
But
it.
before I do that, you said you were going to move to Atlanta.
I
Why
was
didn't you
going
go?
to. So the reason I didn't was because I realized if I moved to Atlanta, I'm probably gonna have to get a job out there, and I don't want to do that again. I already went through that whole hustle. I wouldn't be able to do music full time if I go out there and do that.
True.
I realized that if I quit my job here and save money while I'm being at home, I can go to Atlanta whenever I want.
Right.
So whenever there's an event that I need to go to, or open mic or whatever, like I'm already scheduling myself to go whenever I need to,
Gotcha.
and then just stay at somebody I know house.
Right.
Like do it that way.
Saving money.
Yeah, saving bread. That's all it really
Okay.
is.
So let's go ahead and jump into
Let's
the
get it.
album. All right. So the first track is Alta's Story.
Yep. This one, the way I found the beat was kind of basic. I already had another beat from Glace that I loved, and it sadly didn't make the project because it had a feature on it that was pending. It just didn't make the person didn't get the verse to me in time. I'm still waiting on it. But I went on Glace's website, and I was just like, let me see what else he's working with. And I found this one, and as soon as the key hit in the very beginning, I said, yo, this sounds like an intro. Then the beat dropped, and I said, yeah, this is my intro. Like, I wish my mom was here she saw me when I was at the dinner table
Really?
when I was listening to it, and I jumped up from the seat, like, this is my intro. Because in my opinion, the intro was the hardest beat to find.
Right.
Because you have to set the tone.
This is true.
And that beat set the tone. So I said, you know what, on this song, I got to let people know what this project means to me. So that's why all I got is my demo. That's the first bar you hear on the project. And then it tells it scratches the surface on a lot of things in my life because I'm trying to save a lot of things for a major debut album.
Gotcha.
But it talks about why I started rapping when my homeboy passed away.
Right.
It talks about the ups and downs of trying to get my music in famous artists' hands, and it just hasn't gone well.
Right.
But there's
so,
go ahead.
We got to know the stories behind
Yeah.
how you tried to get it to these people.
So, without going too much in deep, because I kind of want to save a little bit for some tracks. I don't want to ruin stories. I mean, Drake and Wale, self-explanatory, waited after their shows. Wale, tour bus, I was standing outside with the CD out, drove by. Drake, kind of the same thing after his show. He came out of the tour bus. I was like, yo, Drake. And I know he heard me because he kind of tilted his head. Like, somebody called my name. Nah, I ain't going to pay attention. And then, same idea, tour bus. I was damn near trying to taste the tour bus down with the CD. And J. Cole, there's actually a track called Message to Cole on my previous project that counts out about 5 times that I've interacted with him. And since then, there's been like 3 or 4 pivotal times that I also kind of acted with him. I kind of want to save that for when the time is right because I don't want to use that as a stunt, so to speak. But it's all love, though. I know them dudes get people coming up to them every day,
Definitely,
you know, so it's no hard feelings whatsoever.
Right.
But it's definitely a part of my story, and I use this inspiration.
Okay, so as an artist, how are you promoting yourself? Because I know you said this is telling your story and different things you've been through. So what's the best way you found to promote yourself?
The best way I found to promote myself is this mesh of the new generation bounce and feel, but still maintaining the lyricism of the golden age. Because a lot of the artists today that come from our generation that are 23 and under, they're not really rapping. You know what I'm saying? They're not really spitting. You know what I'm saying? They're not telling their story.
What are they doing?
You know what they doing. I ain't gonna send these shots. But that's no knock to them because there's a time and place for everything.
Definitely. And there's an audience for everything.
Exactly. But there's no really 23-year-old artist right now that people are like, yo, he's telling that story right now the way when Drake was 23, he was telling that story. You know what I'm saying? When Cole was 25, he was telling that story. We don't got nobody in that generation right now, so I'm trying to be that person that does that because the demo has this mix of the new age flows with a little bit of classic feel to it as far as the lyricism goes.
Gotcha. Okay. So, next song is Kings in the Queen City.
Kings in the Queen City with my team, and you know they getting cream with me.
Yep. Jacob sent me this beat. He does this thing. I don't know why he does it this way, but he'll send me clips on Snapchat, so I can't even save it. I don't know. It might be hot off of one listen, and it's not really hot. But he sent me that, and I said, "Ooh, send me that." And when he sent me that, I was in this stage of like, "Yo, I need to make a track that's talking about the 704." It's just like you just
everybody has
around.
to have that one song.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just a street riding track. So that one came kind of naturally. Kings in the Queen City was just kind of a play on words and just talking that talk on it, you know.
So Are You Down? And I really like this song. It's one of my favorite ones on the album.
So this one came about. This was I actually hit up Jake on this one and was like, yo, I need an outro. And this ended up being the 3rd song. I hit him up and I was like, I kind of want something like Drake's Do Not Disturb. So I listened to the artist Drake sampled for Do Not Disturb to go down her catalog to see if there was anything else that sounded similar. And I ended up finding that track. Her name is Snow. I want to say it's Allegra Snow. I think that's how you pronounce it. She's dope. Don't sue me for sampling. So I found that sample. It was on a track called Home. And I sent it to Jake. And I was like, bro, I know there's something you could do with this sample. And that's how that beat came about.
Wow.
So he sent me that. And at the time, I was going through a phase where I was making sacrifices with relationships and friendships. Like, I'm doing this music thing, and you kind of don't get it because you're in your phase and I'm in my phase. And it's, you know, so it was just having this conversation of like, yo, I'm doing this, and my dreams are crazy. Are you really down for this ride? Gotcha. So that's how that track came about. And second verse, I talk about my boy having a kid. Shout out to Nick. And then the 4th verse, the beat switched up a little bit, so I switched up the flow on it. Wanted to talk a bit about Statesville on it. So yeah.
Honestly, times are hard, but it cost my glow up. I gotta blow up. I gotta focus back on my goals, gotta get my dough up. Got this feeling, I can't fade it. Hear it all of my latest.
So what does it take to be down for you? What does a girl have to do to be down?
Well, I feel like any man can say this, that a good woman isn't a burden. They support you.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? They don't get in the way.
Right.
Like, yo, why you not giving me time? Instead, they're adjusting. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I know that sounds bad. But, like, they're adapting to how you move because it complements how you move. So when I'm done doing the work, I got this girl I can fall back on. You know what I'm saying? So that's what being down is.
Okay. There's different definitions of down, so I had to ask you.
Nah, you're right.
All right, now cartel music, which you said a lot of people are reacting well to.
I've been flipping vibe like the cartel, getting money with my squad like the cartel. Turn up, I've been cooking dough like the cartel.
Yeah.
So, seems like a talking shit type of song.
Yeah, it definitely is. That beat, this one, I'm gonna kind of mesh Star Island and this one together because they kind of had the same origin.
Okay.
I went to Miami, and I was like, yo, I don't want to play none of my shit in Miami right now. Why is this happening? I was listening to every other rapper but myself in Miami. I felt like I had nothing I could play out there.
Right.
So when I came back, I hit up Jake, who did Star Island, and Doe School, who did cartel music. Like, yo, I need something from Miami. I need something that I can unbutton my shirt to, have the top down, and feel like I'm from the islands. So they sent me those two beats. Cartel music. People always joke with me saying I look like I'm in the cartel, and that my dad looks like cartel leader. But it was kind of like a metaphor because at the end of the day, it's music, raw like the cartel.
Right.
But in the way, if you take it that way, it's ignorant to where it's enjoyable. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what people want to hear. A lot of dope songs these days that are like Coco, like, you know what I'm saying? So that both of those tracks, I actually used the Young Thug song as a reference to both of those producers, Wyclef, the Wyclef joint, and yeah, they used those as a reference, and you can kind of hear it in the flow sometimes, especially on cartel music, and Star Island kind of have more of a Migos kind of flow on it. So it was just me having fun on both of those songs. Star Island was more so, my favorite thing in Miami is when you go out there and you see these huge houses and these exotic cars, and it's like, yo, what can I do to get there? That's kind of, that's kind of where Star Island comes from. And the story about seeing a girl with a Ferrari, that was true. I was about to holler at Shorty, and Lambo pulled up and she walked that way, and I was just like, well, damn. You know, I drive a Honda.
Oh, okay. She might not have been shallow.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that's those two tracks.
Okay, so Big Papi.
Big Papi, this one came, I was just on Doe School's Instagram, and I found this beat, and I heard that, and it had that bounce, that bad boy feel to it. I said, bro, send me that right away. Let me get that. And that one actually ended up becoming a shocker because I wrote that one super fast.
Really?
And the hook just came instantly. I was like, okay, this feels like Bad Boy. What can I say that sounds Bad Boy? Spanish Big Papa. Oh, that's Big Papi. Like, I literally had that Diddy bop to it when I'm rapping it.
I can see you in the studio now, too. That is too funny.
So, and a lot of those bars, sometimes I'll just, like, write random punchlines. So some of those bars came from that. And, yeah, that track, I went to a Bad Boy concert, the reunion tour they had. And I love that boom bap feel that concert had, so I needed a boom bap track for the project, and it didn't have it yet. So I just hit up Doe School, he sent me that beat, and voila.
So do you hear the beat and then write the song, or do you,
Most part. Now, I'll occasionally have bars written on the side that I'll just adapt to the beat, but I prefer to write to the beat because your flow will mesh with the beat if you write to it. If I write outside of the beat, I could be not on beat at points, you know what I'm saying? Or there's certain drops on the beat, like, you know what I'm saying, that you can hit if you write to it. So I prefer to write to the beat.
Okay, next song, Summertime in Southside.
Yep, so this one's actually a little bit older. I dropped this one last October, and I didn't feel like it got the reaction it deserved. So, because all of my boys was like, yo, Summertime is crazy. So I was like, you know what? The demo is probably going to reach people that haven't heard me yet. I feel like this is a song I could carry over to do that with. So that beat was the beat that kind of got me working with Jake again, because me and him hadn't worked in a while. I got that beat. I was like, bro, this is crazy. And it reminded me, Southside in Statesville is basically the hood part of town. And I would get off the bus. I didn't live there, but I would get off the bus there to play basketball with the homies at Christian Outreach. So it just reminded me of that feeling of getting off the bus and we just talking about the girls from class and stuff like that, and just having fun with life. And then the second verse, I kind of just related it to college and made a couple college references from ECU basically as well, like Greek life, athletics, and all that. So that's where that one comes from.
How much has ECU played in your music? Like,
huge.
as a factor?
Huge, because before ECU, I was a lyrical miracle rapper.
Right, I remember you saying
that. So ECU taught me the importance of having enjoyable music that you can play in social circles. So that ECU is humongous as to what it plays in my music.
So in most of your projects, we're hearing like an array of different types of music. So stuff you can chill to, stuff you can party to,
right,
for the girls.
Right. Yeah. This one definitely appeals to.
Yeah,
all
I heard it all. You had it for everybody, and I like that.
Yeah.
All right. So the trap is the interlude.
Yep. So I heard this one off of Those Schools Instagram as well.
Okay.
And I was like, bro, send me that. Because I wanted a hard track, like just super hard. Like I wanted something like Kendrick Lamar's Spiteful Chant. That, but this one didn't have that feel, but it was still hard. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, how can I get on this beat without forcing it? I was like, well, shoot, let me just poke fun at what everybody else does. So that's what that whole track is about. Is literally like, I'm literally telling you this is a fiction. Now watch me switch it up and do it. And that's like how the last 8 bars are. It's like, picture my arm, Louis my drawers, gun by the pillow. Like I just told, but it sounds so good that it's like, yo, I'm turning up to this. Like, so that's how that whole song came about. It was kind of just a play. It was actually a bit longer. It was like a 4.5 minute song, but the first half of the song didn't have the magic that the second half of the song did. So I just kept the second half and made it an interlude.
Okay, I like it. It's one of my favorite songs on there too. As well.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so is it Alicia's theme?
Yep, Alicia's theme.
And who was Alicia?
Alicia was a girl that been holding me down for a bit, you know what I'm saying? So she deserved the record. And it was, I like to use personal moments to write, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So she provided a lot of inspiration. So basically this song was documenting a feeling of like opening up in essence.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? This is obviously inspired from like Bud and Drake. They do this all the time. So I used a little Daredevil backdrop. That's what that intro is from Daredevil. So just
you take a lot of. you got an ear. You can hear things and just
Yeah.
It's an art form.
I appreciate it. I actually hit up Dope School with this one and was like, yo, I need an outro because like intro and outro are the hardest piece to find.
Definitely.
And he sent me this one. I was like, this ain't really an outro, but I like it, so I'm using it. So I ended up writing this one in like an hour and a half, 2 hours. It was a super fast song to write.
How long does it usually take you to write a song?
It depends. Maybe a lot of my songs are pretty short, so maybe like 2.5, 3 if I sit down and focus on that. Sometimes I'll do a verse and then play it off to the next morning so I can stay fresh, not burned out. But this one I wrote in like an hour and a half. So yeah, just tackled the struggles of kind of being in a relationship and being an artist, and then got a little personal in the second verse. And
because you mentioned a few people's names.
Yeah, I did.
But you just said the song was about this girl.
Yeah.
But you mentioned all these girls. So wait a minute. I'd be kind of upset if my song had other bitches' names.
So that one kind of, if you notice the first 2 bars of the second verse, it was, your friends keep on mentioning my past. This is the part that we discuss it. So that's kind of, that's kind of where that comes from, where like she was like, yo, what about this girl I heard about? What about this girl?
Girls do that a lot.
Yeah. So it was kind of like, yo, here's everything on the plate. What's up? I just told you what's good. So that's kind of like how that, and it was all in good taste. I don't think, I try to write it in a way where it's not like I'm slaying anybody or setting anything.
I don't know. Let me see. Because you said, oh, girl set you up.
Okay, I've said that in the song before.
Okay, explain that to me. Because clearly this is not the first time you mentioned it, so you must feel some type of way. What did she do?
She might not have set me up,
but
it was, this is super old. She basically, we stopped talking for a bit, and I started talking to her again.
Okay.
She told me to come over, and when I came over, I guess her man at the time and her cousin showed up. So it was like, oh, you see what I'm saying? So
That does sound like a setup.
So that's where that stems from. But no hard feelings. She's
No hard feelings. We
is
put
what it is.
positive energy into the air.
Yeah.
That's right.
so that's what that
You got all these other girls. Okay, so did you...
Okay.
I know that everything didn't end badly on your behalf. So is it more, like, what happens with these females?
It's just life. Sometimes things don't work. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have different situations in their lives, and if it's not the certain time for it, it just doesn't work out. And that's what a lot of that was. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I literally say there's one girl that she was amazing, but I just didn't catch feelings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just life sometimes. So, yeah, it's all love on my end.
Gotcha.
Hopefully they don't. I haven't gotten no bad texts yet. I might get one soon, but.
Did you inform these girls that they were going to be mentioned, or you just let it go and see what happened?
Just let it go.
All right. I guess that's best. So, like yesterday, we saw how social media went crazy with Black China
Yeah.
and Rob Kardashian. So, with that being said, social media makes it very open. Your life very open.
Yeah.
How okay are you with your business being out there? Because in this it said,
Yeah.
you did mention that was me being open. Seems like you're being more candid.
Yeah.
How much are you willing to share?
I grew up a Joe Budden fan, and Joe Budden actually used to do this thing called Joe Budden TV, where he put his entire life out, like literally random moments of his life. And his music did the same thing, where he would talk about things people would be scared to talk about in discussion. As a fan of him, and then as a fan of Tupac, as a fan of Drake, J. Cole, it's a part of the game. If you want to create, if you look at every legend in the game, it's because they had a connection with the fans.
Right.
The fans related to something about them. The artists that are just making hits, they fade away. They're trends. But it's those that open up, that create that bond with the fan base, that stay for a while. And I'm willing to make that risk, because at the end of the day, that's why I got into music, was because that vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? My boy passed away, I made a song about it, and it felt good.
Gotcha.
So this is my way of venting, my way of coping.
Gotcha.
Because I became a fan of hip-hop when Tupac was saying things that I couldn't explain, but I was feeling.
Gotcha.
So hopefully I could do that one day for somebody.
Okay. Because I think that's like what you just said. That's what music is all about, being candid and open. Because ultimately, you're sharing your business. That's what it is. If you're making real music, that is, you're sharing your business. So, I always like to know, because I think now with music, it's no longer about just what you say in your music. It's who you dating, where do you live, do we like you as a person? Because liking somebody as a person is a big factor in liking their music as well. Exactly. Yeah. So I think because times have changed with social media, music has become bigger, and you have to put more of yourself into it. And I don't know if some people are ready for that. So that's why I wanted to ask you, how much are you willing to share? Because it's a pretty big thing.
And I actually make that clear with people in my life. Like, if a girl I'm about to start dating, I'm like, yo, if music pop off pretty soon, there might be cameras.
Right.
I'm not saying that in a cocky way, but
just letting them know.
Yeah, if it happens, because things have been looking good recently, I need you to know you're prepared for it.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that being said, it's what type of female do you look for as going into the industry?
It's one of those things that it's not a right answer. You kind of just got to go with.
Yeah, certain quality.
Yeah. I mean, she got to be willing to understand. You know what I'm saying? So. It's hard to explain.
It is. It is. Trust me, I get it.
Yeah.
All right. So, what is your approach to the rap game? Because some people they think it's social media. I gotta get my followers up. I gotta push all my music through social media, or I gotta go out here. I gotta be in the streets. I gotta be shaking hands, kissing babies, let people see my face. I have to work on getting that hit single, that radio single. So maybe some people feel like they gotta dumb their music down.
Right.
To be on the radio, and then when people hear me, they'll go hear my real stuff. You know what I'm saying? So how do you think you have to manipulate the game in your...
It's funny, because I think I've been in every single one of those stages you just mentioned.
Really?
Easily. I've hit the stage where I was like, yo, do I need to dumb my music down? I've hit the stage of yo, is it all about the internet? Do I got to get my plays up? Do I got to get my views up?
Right.
So what I kind of figured out it's one of those things. There's not really a right answer.
Right.
You kind of just got to do you.
Right.
And honestly, I'm in a way right now. I'm trying to mix it all up. You know, internet is important because you can reach people you typically couldn't reach. But the streets are important as well because people want to be able to say, "Yo, that was that kid from the block at that open mic."
Right.
And it creates a personal attachment. If I come up to you and be like, "Yo, you rock with that?" and be like, "Yeah," I'll be like, "Yo, can you check this out for me?" Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
like it's different as opposed to getting a SoundCloud link on your Twitter that mentions a random link and bro, check me out. I'm like, get out of here.
Right.
So, but the internet is still important though because there's artists like Bryson Tiller literally got popping off of SoundCloud.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all important. I'm trying to not to neglect either one. So maintaining an internet presence, street presence, making music that's real to me but still enjoyable to the public. It's kind of like that happy medium of every spectrum. So I'm just marketing myself as me, I guess. Yeah.
You're too cute. So what have you learned in this past year or two that you have entered the business? You know, whether it's about people, whether it's about how to do production. What have you learned? What has it taught you as a person?
I've learned so much things. I don't know if I'm going to be able to name it. But first and foremost, you can't do a full-time job with this. There's no, well, you can do it to save up to a certain point.
Right.
But if you're ready to take that leap of faith, you got to take it because it's just unless the cards just play right, you're not going to position yourself working 50, 40 hours a week and then trying to do music.
Right.
You need to be doing 50, 40 hours a week towards music and then doing whatever on the side to survive. The people in the game, they don't take their word. So everybody say they want to help you out. I swear every day I meet somebody, bro, I know this person, I know this person. Nothing comes from it. So you got to watch who you keep in your circle and who you put your trust into. But don't ever downplay an opportunity because it was the person I don't want to say least expected, but kind of didn't count on it. That got me the T.I. gig. That got me the Manny Fresh gig.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So
Manny Fresh, I saw that. How was that?
that was dope. It was like super random, so it wasn't like a lot of people out there. And it was one of those things where it was like, yo, I haven't worked with this dude before. I could come up here and they'd be like, who are you?
Right.
That's why I didn't really promote it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want to. That was my first time working with bro, so I didn't want to look stupid on Instagram. It's just you gotta be open to every opportunity, and you can always be humble enough to work with anybody. Like I just opened up for T.I., but I was at open mic last night. Like there's still places I gotta reach. And also that, what else have I learned? People want to hear bouncy music, but they also want to hear real music, believe it or not. So just gotta make both. You know what I'm saying? Just be you in the best way possible. If that radio single comes, let it come naturally. You can't force it. You can't force it. Yeah.
You will sound crazy trying to sound like everybody else.
Exactly.
Being that we're in North Carolina, we have a few artists trying to pop off right now from North Carolina. You got The Baby, you got DJ Luke Nasty. Would you ever, or have you reached out to either one of them to work?
I have. I actually wanted The Baby on Cartel Music.
Okay.
That would
have been dope.
That would have been super dope. I got in touch with his management, wasn't him in particular, but the negotiation just didn't make much sense to me, so it didn't work out. But it's all love.
Yeah, definitely.
And who else? I want to work with Will Wildfire. That's my homie.
Definitely heard of him. He's dope.
Yeah, Northside Rockies out in Raleigh. I want to work with him. And a couple other North Carolina artists. Shout out to Brody, he's out here in Greenville. Sonny the Man is that dude. And a couple other artists. Don't hate me for not mentioning you, bro. But I got a lot of people probably looking like, bro, you gonna mention me? Nah. It's all love. But no, there's a lot of dope North Carolina artists out right now.
Yeah.
So, Sean Kidd, he was at my open mic last night. He was super dope. So shout out to him too.
So doing all these shows, how important is it to you to make sure that you're constantly doing shows?
It's a huge. If I can, I'm trying to do a show every week.
Because I see you everywhere.
I'm trying to be, because that's the best way to get yourself out. I can tell anybody, hey, here's my CD, and they're gonna think it's trash. But if I go on that stage and I kill it, that's gonna create that demand. And everybody there is forced to listen. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get shows everywhere. And what I've loved in this past year, another thing that I've learned is that my music was loved in Atlanta and it was loved in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So like,
how did you figure this out? Just going there?
Just when I performed.
Gotcha.
Because I performed in Atlanta like 3 times.
Right.
They loved it every time, and I was scared because I was like, yo, I'm up here like rapping. I'm not doing what they like. Not saying they don't rap, but like I'm not doing
different type.
Yeah, I'm not doing the southern rap.
Right.
Are they gonna love it?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I walk away and Atlanta's going crazy.
Really?
Pennsylvania, I was nervous because there's that stigma of like, yo, East Coast fans, they're gonna sit there with their arms folded and not show no love. Penn State loved me. Right after the show, about 40, 50 people came up, and that's no exaggeration whatsoever. Like, yo, you killed it.
That's dope. How does it make you feel?
It's what I do it for.
Right.
Like, it literally lets me know, like, yo, I actually got a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Reassurance.
Yeah, it makes me ready to get back in the booth.
People rock with you.
Exactly. And the crazy thing about the Penn State one, it played a big effect on my project because I performed older songs at Penn State and I felt the flow being stagnant. So that's why on the demo, if you notice, I switched the flow up almost every song, mid-verse.
Right.
So, yeah. Shout out to...
So ultimately, so people don't get bored.
Exactly. Because it was like... Even on stage, I was getting bored with it. So I was like, yo, I need to start switching my flow up on these tracks. So shout out to the noobs out there that booked me.
All right, let's see. Do you plan on staying in Charlotte right now? You kind of quit your job? You can go anywhere? No kids holding you back? Go ahead, boo.
I kind of... Yeah, I think I'm going to stay at home.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be real. I'm doing it the old school way. Stay at the family crib and save bread.
Money.
You know what I'm saying? I'll be honest about it. I'm doing that way I can go to wherever I want, whenever I can. And I'm just saving bread. Because if I move to Atlanta, if I move to New York, I'm going to have to get a job to pay rent. And I don't want to do that right now. I'm trying to focus on music and get as far out as I can.
Gotcha.
If I have to go back to a job in a couple months, I will. But I want to do this as much as I can where music is my full intent.
Okay. And right now it seems like you're pretty booked and everything is moving forward for you. So.
Exactly. There's a lot of things I have planned. That's the thing. Don't ever make a move without a plan. You know what I'm saying? Because it would have been different if I quit my job and didn't have a plan.
Right.
I'd be looking stupid.
Right.
But luckily, I made sure that I finished the project and I was a couple videos in and had a couple shows booked. Because I'm at least set for 2 to 3 months worth of fresh promo.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And I already know what I'm gonna do for the next project. Not saying it's coming anytime soon, but I got some good feedback from people in the industry, so I got an idea.
Big moves coming?
We'll see.
Okay. All right. So, in about, where do you see yourself next year? Around the same time, where would you like to be in 5 years?
The crazy thing is, if you would have asked me, we just had this conversation a couple days ago with my boy. He was like, bro, if you would have told us last year we was opening up for T.I. this year, we would have said you're crazy. So there's no limitation on the place whatsoever. So shoot, I want a deal. I want to be on by next year. And by 5 years, I want to be mentioned with the people in the game that are like, you know what I'm saying, the Drakes, the Coles, the Kendricks. That's what I'm trying to do.
And how old are you?
23.
23.
Yeah, so...
Do you think there's an age limit on any of this?
There's not, and even though I'm moving like it, I always get, one of my biggest stress factors is like, yo, I'm 23. Meek Mill was saying he was 23. I'm a boss. You know what I'm saying? Like Drake was this age at this point.
Is that intimidating?
It is. I ain't gonna front. It is.
It is.
It's super intimidating because it's like, yo, the clock is ticking.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think the same damn thing.
I mean, think about it. Soulja Boy was only like 16.
Right.
And like I remember when I was 18, I was like, oh, I'm just 18. I'll be on by when I'm 21. Right. When I'm 21, I'll be on when I'm 23. Now I'm 23, and I used to always say I'm gonna do music hard till 25. And if it don't nothing pop off then I'm gonna do something else. 25 is in a year and a half. You know what I'm saying?
What you thinking?
So I'm still doing music, but that's like kind of showing the timeline.
Right, that's the growth. Right.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say there's an age limit because I mean 2 Chainz got popping in his mid-30s.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Granted, he was already in the game. I don't want people to forget that because they always say that. But you know, there's artists that get popping super late. Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt came out when he was 26. 26 or 27, somewhere in there.
You feel like Jay-Z should still be making music right now?
He's making music that's true to him. As long as he's doing that. And that's what makes Jay-Z's longevity so special, is that he was him throughout this whole process. Other artists that were from the 90s, they try to do the sounds of today, and it was just like, nah, bro.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? that's why Hov, in my opinion, is the greatest, because he's adapted to every generation and still doing it.
I like that. I've never been a Jay-Z fan, but that is very true. I can second that. Okay. I think that is it.
Hey.
I think that is it. Thank you for coming and talking with me.
Hey, I really love this interview. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Alta Music, ALTAMUZIK. Also Snapchat. They don't let you change Snapchat. I'm still JP the Kid on there, so JPDAKID. And what else? The demo is on Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, SoundCloud. I also got physicals. If you ever run into me, I'll be more than happy to give you one. They're free. Even though it's on iTunes and all that, the money isn't the thing. I want to make sure you listen to it. So, yeah, catch me. I don't know when this is dropping, but next Thursday I'll be at Raleigh. That's the 13th.
Dates.
Is it the 13th? I think the 13th is next Thursday. I'm at Club Ruby with Incognito,
Okay.
Shame,
I like that.
Shame, Danny Blaze, and that next Saturday, I'm at Charlotte Studio 1212 or Studio 1212. I don't know how to say it. Cleavon Don, and there's a couple other artists on there. Shout out to Cleavon for getting me on that. And then I'm in Statesville. I want to say the 21st at the Civic Center.
So a lot coming up, like I said.
So
staying busy as you should.
Trying to.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
No doubt.
And no idea when the next project's coming out. We're focusing on this one.
I ain't gonna. I hate to do this because it's gonna set expectation.
Oh, gosh.
I'm hoping to do winter though.
Winter.
I want a winter
Not
project.
quick. Okay.
Because the demo feels like summer.
Okay.
I want something.
can understand that.
I want something grimy and raw and gritty in the winter.
So maybe we'll talk again in the winter.
Hopefully.
Okay. All right. We're out.
Deuces. What's good? This is J-Alta. You are now tuned in to SheIsClarkeJones.com, one of the realest in the game. North Carolina, we up 704. We out here.